Hi, I'm Simone and welcome to my channel. Nutrition is an important factor in everyone's health and well-being, but even more so for people with spinal cord injury, SCI. In fact, a balanced diet suited to your needs can help prevent or manage some of the most common complications of SCI, such as obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, constipation, urinary infections and bed sores. Remember, if you like this content, to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel to support me and not miss all the news that will come out. In this article, we will give you some useful advice on how to follow a healthy and balanced diet if you have SCI, based on the World Health Organization, WHO, guidelines and some scientific sources specific to SCI. What are the nutritional needs of people with SCI? The nutritional needs of people with SCI depend on several factors, such as the level and degree of injury, age, gender, weight, physical activity and general health. However, in general, it can be said that people with SCI have lower energy needs than people without SCI, due to reduced muscle mass and slowed metabolism. This means they must consume fewer calories to maintain their ideal weight and prevent obesity, which is a risk factor for many diseases. To calculate the daily caloric needs of a person with SCI, specific formulas can be used that take into account the various parameters mentioned above. For example, a commonly used formula is the Harris-Benedict formula, which is based on weight, height, and age. A correction factor is then applied to this formula based on the level of injury and physical activity. For a sedentary paraplegic SCI person, the correction factor is 0.9. For a sedentary quadriplegic SCI person, it is 0.8. Another formula used to estimate daily calorie needs is that of the National Research Council, NRC, which is based on current weight and level of injury. For a person with paraplegic SCI, the requirement is 28 kilocalories per kilogram of weight. For a person with tetraplegic SCI, it is 23 kilocalories per kilogram of weight. These formulas are only indicative and must be adapted to the individual case. To have a more precise and personalized assessment, we recommend consulting a nutritionist or dietitian specializing in SCI. What are the principles of a healthy and balanced diet for people with SCI? A healthy and balanced diet for people with SCI is based on the same principles valid for the general population, but with some specificities related to SCI conditions. In particular, it is recommended to follow a varied and colorful diet, which includes all food groups, whole grains, fruit and vegetables, legumes, lean meat or fish, dairy products or vegetable alternatives, vegetable oils and dried fruit. Each food group provides essential nutrients for the functioning of the body, such as carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals and fiber. Reduce consumption of high-calorie and nutrient-poor foods, such as sweets, salty snacks, sugary drinks, alcohol and fried or fatty foods. These foods contribute to weight gain and the risk of chronic disease. Limit the consumption of salt and salty foods, such as cured meats, mature cheeses, ready-made sauces and canned foods. Excess salt can cause water retention, high blood pressure and kidney problems. Drink at least 1.52 liters of water a day, distributed throughout the day. Water is essential for hydration, regulation of body temperature, prevention of urinary infections and intestinal regularity. You can also drink other unsweetened drinks, such as tea, coffee, infusions and natural fruit juices. Follow a regular meal rhythm, having at least 3 main meals and 2 snacks a day. This helps keep your blood sugar level stable, control your appetite and avoid binge eating. Furthermore, it is advisable to chew well and slowly, to facilitate digestion and a sense of satiety. Adapt the quantity and quality of food to your needs and preferences, taking into account your calorie needs, any intolerances or allergies, personal tastes and food culture. There is no one-size-fits-all diet, but everyone must find their own balance between health and pleasure. What are some helpful tips for preventing or managing the most common complications of SCI? In addition to following the general principles of a healthy and balanced diet, there are some specific tips to prevent or manage some of the most common complications of SCI, such as obesity. To prevent or reduce obesity, it is recommended to reduce daily caloric intake by approximately 500 kilocalories compared to normal needs, increase the consumption of fruit and vegetables, choose foods with a low glycemic index, limit the consumption of saturated fats and simple sugars, regularly practice physical activity appropriate to your level of injury and periodically monitor your weight and abdominal circumference. Diabetes. To prevent or control diabetes, it is advisable to follow a balanced diet in terms of the relationship between carbohydrates, proteins and fats, favoring complex carbohydrates and fiber, limiting simple carbohydrates and saturated fats, distributing meals regularly and uniformly, avoiding prolonged fasting and binging, Regularly practicing physical activity appropriate to your level of injury and periodically monitoring blood sugar and glycated hemoglobin. Cardiovascular diseases. To prevent or reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases, it is advisable to limit the consumption of saturated and trans fats, present especially in fatty meats, whole dairy products, butter, margarine, and industrial foods. Increase the consumption of unsaturated fats, present above all in vegetable oils, dried fruit, seeds, and fatty fish. Reduce the consumption of salt and salty foods. Increase the consumption of potassium, present above all in fresh fruit and vegetables. Moderate the consumption of alcohol.